Superman is one of the biggest icons around. Batman, Spider-Man, and then probably Superman are probably the most recognizable names in comics. However, his comics aren't always home runs. Sure, there's plenty of amazing Superman stories like Birthright, American Alien, Secret Identity, and more, but what about the series? Well, pre-New 52, there were actually some pretty solid runs, or at least they were decent. New 52 came along, and Superman was being thrown into the worst comics of the year list every year. Why did it fail? I'm going to give you 5 reasons on why I think New 52 Superman failed in every imaginable way. My number 5 reason is that they're jumping writers non-stop. If you take a look at the first 3 graphic novels of the Superman run in New 52, you might notice a glaring thing. It's 3 different writers. Well, this is common in comics. I mean, we know that. We have to keep the ideas flowing. However, none of the writers seemed to connected, and thus each one gave their own story without any new twists or overarching storylines, making it completely dull too quickly. This also happens in Action Comics, but to a lesser extent. But not giving writers their time to completely tell a story, it made it suffer from the start. But that, honestly, is the least of New 52 Superman's problems. My 4th reason is Scott Lobdell. Listen, I'm not going to get into his personal reasons on why to hate this guy. I know a lot of people don't like him. Apparently he's a womanizer. He's also an asshole to people. Whatever the reason is, fine. But let's talk about his writing. It's not what Superman needed. In fact, it somehow got worse when he took the reins and he had this grip on Superman for over a year. Nothing about his run was very good. Forced crossovers with other Superman family members, and also injecting his terrible Superboy all damaged the series even more than before. My 3rd reason is there was a glimmer of hope that was quickly taken away. Around halfway through New 52, DC decided to give 2 writers a chance to fix Action Comics and Superman. While Action Comics started strong enough with Grant Morrison's run, it completely became a convoluted mess by the end of his run, and it was handed to Andy Diggle, who did okay at best. But we needed something fresh. On the flip side, Superman was being written by Lobdell at this point, and like I mentioned before, this guy did not get Superman at all. Enter Greg Pak on Action Comics and Jeff Johns on the Superman. Greg Pak gave it all from the start, giving his fun, what lies beneath storyline that captured perfectly who Superman was, while Jeff Johns gave us the Men of Tomorrow, bringing in a new kryptonite coming to Earth, and Clark must learn to deal with it. As both gave interesting takes on their arcs and both brought the series to new levels, right after they both were done, it quickly diminished back to the below average that we were expecting. Yang came in and I'm sure was forced to do the Truth storyline, which was just terrible for Action Comics, and then, for Superman, and while Action Comics was plagued with Doomed, the Doomsday crossover that completely fucked up the series, so there was like this little hope that was gone like the wind so quickly. My number 2 reason is, why was Superman rebooted? The thing I never understood with New 52 is completely rebooting Superman. We had Batman largely stay the same, we had Green Lantern largely stay the same, but we radically changed Superman in both his past, his overall look, and his attitude. With Superman being rebooted, they had to start all his stories over again. This was done through mostly Action Comics, but as I said, it became a convoluted mess by the end, and eventually they dropped that idea and just had Action Comics and Superman run at the same time in the same timeline. In doing so, we had 2 storylines running side by side that was basically just retelling a lot of the old Superman plots with new twists like Doomsday, but making it 10 times worse. There was just no reason to do this to a beloved character like Superman, and it didn't work at all. And my number 1 reason is Superman was a jerk. It's no secret that New 52 changed some characters in big ways. If you don't know what happened to characters like Lobo, the less said, the better. But I don't believe anyone as big as Superman was affected in such a negative way. Superman became a complete jerk. Sure, some writers converted him back like Johns or even Soule in his Superman Wonder Woman team-up love story, but for the most part, Superman didn't seem as hopeful a lot of times. He was just kind of a jerk all the time and more of, I have to do what I have to do mood, and always fighting with people. It just soured everyone's opinion on the most optimistic hero around next to Nightwing, just completely missing the point of the entire character 50, 60 years prior to his creation. Listen, there's plenty of reasons this series mostly failed, but these are the major ones that I can think of when I look back on my reading experiences of Superman and Action Comics. I sometimes wonder why I wasted my fucking time with these series, and although I did enjoy some select stories like I said above, this is probably the worst and most skippable era in all of Superman. If people think Bendis' run, which I hear some people just hate, is bad, don't even touch this, because this is absolutely the worst thing ever. By the way, I like Bendis' run, but this is terrible. So these are my top 5 reasons why Superman New 52 failed in pretty much every way. If you have some more reasons, of course, listen below. If you think that Superman was great, please give the reasons why. I would love to hear that. And everybody else, have a great day.